Hello crafty people, it's Sharon here, and I'm just bringing you a quick video today where I'm going to create a background to go with these cute little mice from Lili of the Valley, and I'm going to mount them onto a card. Now I have coloured these mice in previous videos, so if you want to see how I did that, I'm going to add some links in the description below this video. But meanwhile, we're just going to have a little bit of fun with some inks and some stencils and create a nice background to make our finished card. So to begin with, I'm going to pick my distress inks, and what I've chosen is squeezed lemonade and twisted citron, both quite soft colours when you apply them with a blending brush, and that's what I'm going to do today. I started with yellow because I thought of the yellow cheese from my little mouse, which I'll just bring back here, and then I just added some green to bring a bit of zing and contrast really. And I've also picked some stencils. These are quite large stencils, but they're from Lavinia. You can pick any sort of stencil that you've got, but I've picked textured stencil, which I'm going to use in a moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is, taking my yellow distress ink, I'm just going to blend some yellow generally into the background of my card. And to do that, I'm just going to pick some up with a blending brush, and starting in the middle, I'm just going to start blending outwards, and you'll hardly see it to start with because this is a very pale colour. But what's going to happen is I'm just going to get a bit of a yellow glow. Now if you had a stronger colour ink or a more pigmented ink, what you might want to do before you did this is perhaps blot it away, so you don't get anything too nasty, any lumps and bumps on there. But really it doesn't matter at all because we're going to cover this with stencil. It's going to have a kind of textured appearance anyway. Now it is very delicate and pale, as I say. I'm not sure how much of this you'll be able to see, but I think you can just about see that I've got some yellow on there. And then what I'm doing at the bottom, where I think the ground's going to be, I'm just sort of straightening it out a little bit and then blending around. So I'm kind of making an arc shape. Next thing to do is to take my first stencil, which is this one from Lili of the Valley, and in case you were wondering, it is called Ambience, and it's an 8 by 8 inch stencil. And I'm going to place that over the top, and picking up that same squeezed lemonade colour, I'm going to go over the top, starting from the base where my ground roughly will be, and then working my way up and fading out. And I'm just holding my stencil gently in place so that I do get to keep it still. Again, doesn't really matter if I don't. And I'm going beyond that original yellow circle just to get a little fade out even more of my beautiful stencil. And then I can just flip it up carefully, and hopefully you can see there that we have a beautiful background coming into play. So it's time to swap inks now, and I'm going to go with my twisted citron, which is quite a pale green, and I'm swapping to another stencil, again from Lavinia, and this one has got a slightly bigger pattern to it, and this one is called Flower Spray. So once again I'm going to pick up some green, and starting at my baseline I'm going to start gently adding, but I'm not going to go out so far this time. I might just go up the top here just to add some differentiation. And what will happen is that these two colours will actually blend together and give a different colour. There we go. So you don't need as much of that one. And as you can see, we've got a nice wobbly little line here at the bottom, which is where our mice are going to eventually sit. So at this point, I might just do a little test. There we go. They're going to look something like that. Now it's very white down here, and I do want them to be on the ground a little bit, so I just need to find something to bring that ground line in, I'm going to just have a look and bring out one of my other ink pads. So this time I'm going to go with a Harmony ink pad in anthracite. It's a greyish colour, quite neutral, and I've got a round blending brush this time. I'm just going to pick up some of that and I'm going to sweep along the bottom here. And I'm not going all the way along, I'm leaving that border at the edge. And I'm actually not quite touching this coloured area, so it's almost a slight white band just here. If you can't get that, it doesn't really matter. It's just something that you can add. There we go. And we've got some nice grounding now for our mice. So let's have a little look. Perfect. So we'll put that aside for now. So this is coming together very quickly and it's a lovely effect. I think the next thing I want to do is actually position my mice. And my thoughts are that I'm going to have my mice sitting here in the middle and some sort of sentiment at the top, and I'm probably going to add some doodling around the edge with a fine line pen. So first things first, let's just get our mice stuck down, and then I'm going to go and find a sentiment. To go with. So I'm putting them just below the ground line so that they're sitting on the ground, not hovering above it. If I put them up here, it would look like they were almost levitating above the ground. So I've just put them down below. As you can see, I've already fussy cut these out. And I have a video also talking about fussy cutting, so I'll try and remember to put that in my description below as well. But if not, have a look on my channel, come and visit me, and you will find that in my playlist and in my general list as well. Now I'm going to lift him just up a little bit so they're not sitting dead level, and just let him stick in place and dry for a moment. So I've gone ahead and picked a sentiment from my collection, and this is just a sort of generic one which came from Woodware, and stamped it sort of centrally at the top. It has a quirky font that goes a little bit up and down, so it's quite forgiving in terms of straightness. I'm going to add a little bit of movement around my mice just by doing a little squiggle around their ears. It just kind of animates them a little bit more, maybe a little round here, around their tails. You don't have to do that, it's just a little extra. And I might just go ahead and just give them a little bit of a floor line as well. And then this one I'm just going to squiggle because that's where the original stamp had some floor line. So I'm going to mirror that on the other side as well. There we go, so we've just made a bit of quirky ground there, and I'm going to add some doodle around the edge of my card. I don't know if you can see, but this was actually cut from a die cut and it's got a dot and dashes edge around it, but I'm just going to add a little bit extra by doing my usual wobbly lines. So that's one set of wobbly lines, and then we go back over. There we go. And now we're all ready to mount up on a card. So I've picked a 6 by 6 inch scallop card, which I'm just going to bring in. And I found some corresponding paper that kind of matched with my cheese. So all that remains for me to do is to stick this in place, and then we'll have our finished card. And here we have the final version of the card, very quick and easy to make, and you could use this background or type of background like it to apply to any stamps that you've got, but I think it looks particularly cute with these mice. If you like what you see, I'd love if you come and subscribe to me, and I will have another card featuring these very same mice but in a different style, which I'll be bringing to you shortly. So watch this space, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!